Hello, everybody. Welcome to a new episode of Exploring Brain and Mind. And today I'm joined by the lovely Tamiko Askew.
Hi, everyone.
So, Tamiko just told me that she's in Texas. So, you're my first overseas guest.
Oh, awesome. Awesome.
So far, everybody has been, well, the past 10 guests that I had, they were all from the UK. But yeah, I love have people on from different parts of the world.
Oh, yes, 100%. I agree.
So tell me a bit about what you are doing, Tamiko. What is your profession, your passion?
Okay, for yes. So I am a brain health and educator wellness coach. So I am an educator. Well, currently I have my own company, but I was a an educator, and so my job is to, coach educators to be able to really take care of themselves and to protect their brain health because in order for them to show up for their students, they have to be able to show up for themselves. So that is my passion, is to because the retention is high, not just here in the US, but across the world, as far as educators just being burnt out. And so I'm here to guide them and help them with their brain health and nutrition.
That's fantastic. You know, when because you were recommended to me as a guest by
Yeah.
Tem. I can't remember Tem's surname. I always have an issue with the pronunciations.
Yes.
So she recommended you, and when I heard brain based or
Mhm.
brain focus, my eyes got big straight away, and I thought that would be a perfect guest for me.
Yes. Yeah, that's what she told me. She's phenomenal actually too. So I
She sure
appreciate it.
is. She sure is.
Yes.
No, I find it fascinating and I find it very important what you are offering and what you are doing
Yes.
because working in schools is very stressful. I mean, I can only say it from the point of having done a supporting teaching and learning in schools course about 10 years ago. But
Yes.
it still gave me an idea what teachers face, especially in the secondary education, which would be high school, I think, at
Yes,
the
correct.
state level.
Yes.
So what level were you an educator in?
In elementary, I was with the younger ones, and
Hmm.
I was also a principal of the elementary school. So
Okay.
yes. Hmm.
Okay. And what's your journey into the looking after educators and the brain health of educators?
The journey definitely started with myself, and I saw myself being, burnt out just coming from work, and that was in the classroom, and then also as an administrator. It was just a lot, coming from work to home, and then my husband also he's a veteran, so he
Okay.
became ill,
Mm.
himself, and dealing with mental health and all of that, and there's just a light bulb went off, and I was like, okay, something's going on here.
Hmm.
And
Yeah,
so helping him, helping myself, and then also talking to colleagues as well while I was still in the schools full time. They would ask me, okay, what are you doing to help yourself? Because I would take healthy snacks.
hmm,
I would, take time to just breathe, or give myself like 5 minutes.
yeah.
And so I
Yeah,
was helping them in the process. And so that led me to doing what I'm doing now, is to really have us to recenter, refocus, and see the importance of brain health. As we see, studies have shown that mental illness definitely comes from how we protect our brains and how we are
absolutely.
keeping them healthy. Yes. So that's how I ended up where I am right now.
Totally,
Yes.
totally. Since you're from the States,
Yes.
I might have a few questions on how things work over there. Like, what is your workload like?
Okay. Yes, definitely. So my
Like,
workload over here, as far as, are you talking about as far as my coaching or as far as
no, when you were in an educator
an
yourself.
educator? So
Yeah.
the workload is pretty healthy. I mean, pretty hectic when it comes down to just the demands and the results that, the school districts require. the states require all of these
Okay.
different demands that they have, and they put so much
Yeah.
pressure not only on the students, but they put it on the educators as well. So that comes from the
Right.
classroom, the school administration, because they want, miracles, but it just doesn't happen that way because,
Yeah.
students learn differently. And so, and then you have educators that are constantly trying to educate themselves, but at the same time, they're losing themselves, and not taking that time. And so that's why you see the retention is so high over
Mm-hmm.
here in the States, with the retention is lacking, I should say, over here in the States because of lack of pay, and also they're just tired because they put so many students in their classroom. So
Yeah.
just wanting to bring that retention back, what schools have that retention, because teachers are loyal and they'll stick with you as long as they can, but again, when it comes down where it's unbearable, then they decide to choose another career.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's totally understandable. That's
Yeah,
totally
for
understandable.
sure.
What's your class sizes? I'm sorry, I'm so nosy.
Oh, you're fine. No, no, no.
It's just so great to have, to have someone from a different
Yes, yes,
country.
yes.
And
No,
I
the
was just
class,
like, what's the
this,
situation?
it's okay. The standard class size is from 25 to 30 students. So that
It's
is the
quite
standard
big,
class.
yeah.
Yeah. So with just one teacher, because we don't have a paraprofessional, which is a teacher's aide. We don't have one of those
Oh,
unless you are
okay.
in pre-K, like a pre-K teacher or something like that. But it's literally just 25 to 30 students. And the class sizes are huge. So yeah, so that's
Mhm.
also a tear on the educator as well, just trying to make sure they're meeting the standard that's there for them.
Right, right. That's an interesting difference as well, because sometimes we have like teaching, we call them teaching assistants.
Right.
Sometimes they call them classroom assistants as well, but there's people that, help sometimes help certain students, or
Yes.
depending on the tasks and handing out things, preparing stuff. But
Right, exactly. Because
it's
what is the class size there in the UK?
I think it can be pretty like 25 to 30 sounds pretty much the same.
Even?
I
Okay.
haven't been in elementary level, which is, but in the UK terms it's called primary school level.
Okay. Okay.
But I don't know the class sizes there, because when I had the placement as part of the course, I was at secondary level, so
Okay.
high school level, and
Okay. Okay.
their class sizes there were around about the same.
Okay, makes sense. Okay. That makes
Mhm.
sense.
Yeah, it's a yeah. So how do you work with people, with educators that are close to burnout, or are already experiencing burnout, or are you trying to catch them early, or
Trying
how
to
does
get,
it
yeah.
work?
I really am trying to catch them early because, education is my passion. And,
Hmm.
people tell me all the time, don't call myself a former educator. I say that because I'm not in the classroom physically every day,
Yeah.
but I am an educator. So I love it so much. And, educators are needed, especially this time in the world that we're in right now.
Yes.
And a lot of us are leaving because of personal, like myself, I had to leave. But then again, I said there is another way I can support and make sure that I'm still doing what I enjoy doing. So I want to catch them early so that
Hmm.
they don't burn out. And so
Hmm.
that they're spending that time with themselves, they're reflecting, they're taking that time just to breathe and to be able to take care of their brain health so that the rest of their body is able to function as well. So they can show up
Yeah.
for their students. Yes.
Yeah.
So that is my mission. So hopefully I'll be able to accomplish it.
It is a very important mission that you have there. Yes,
Yeah.
definitely. It's definitely very important, and our brain is super important.
Yes.
We need that
Mhm.
so much to, well, need to make, my mission is kind of making people aware how their brain works and how to optimize its function. So that's why it's a
Definitely.
really good fit.
Yeah, definitely. You're right about that.
So I had a little look at your website,
Uh-huh.
and there you've got this EDU system. How
Yes.
did you get to develop that? Did you do any kind of trainings for that, or did you kind of
I
develop that yourself?
I developed it myself. I have not, and it's based off of my own experience and just my colleagues, that I've worked with.
Hmm.
And so I have it because it's something that you can do within 5 to 10 minutes a day. Like it doesn't take up too much time because as educators, you do not have time,
Yes,
literally to do
absolutely.
anything. So I wanted to make sure it wasn't something extra added on, to their
Hmm.
plate. So something that they
Hmm.
can do that's pretty, pretty easy. And so with the EDU method, it's pretty much the E stands for energize, the D is defend, and the U is to upgrade. So
Hmm.
that pretty much is what the method is. And so the energize is when you are focused on strategic hydration and nutrition throughout the day. And
Hmm.
so then also movement breaks, like if you're taking your students to recess or you're having a lunch break, you are half of the time you're eating and half of the time you're doing like a small exercise. Or you may decide, okay, I need to just get out of the building to go get some fresh air,
Hmm.
breathe a little bit, give yourself a good 5 minutes to just take in what Mother Nature has given us. And
Yes.
so, and recharge, at that point, and that truly gives you energy. And so, and then also just rest, have that, not just sleeping, but have that time of reflection, where you're
Hmm.
able to just center yourself. And then your brain is also able to recalibrate and function as well so
Hmm.
that it can get you back into the motion of, teaching or running a school or counseling students, anything that's in your role. And
Hmm.
then you have defend, which is it builds boundaries and also emotional resilience. So it protects against stress overload. Because
Hmm.
as we
Yeah.
all know, and hopefully I will say this before I move on to the what defend means. It's just that I'm starting with educators, and hopefully, I can also help entrepreneurs as well. Anyone in the health and wellness, or if anyone comes across my method, they will be able to apply it to their life as well. So
Hmm.
that is what I ultimately want to do, but we'll see how that goes. But the fan is pretty much just like managing your stress response. And then, with breathing, mindfulness, reflection, if you need to have a journal, to write down, what's going on, a brain dump, so you can
Hmm.
get all
Yeah.
that off your brain to help you. And then you have, upgrade, which is pretty much learning how to using some self-coaching techniques to prevent burnout. And so to
Yeah.
help you, that includes breathing exercises, taking 5 or 10 minutes just to breathe, have like small little habits that you can have throughout the day to help you to recenter so that you can continue throughout your day teaching. You can continue out your day as a professional, whatever that may be, so you don't feel drained at the end of the day.
Hmm. It's a great system, and I can see that working for other professionals as well.
Right.
I mean, you chose a very good niche, though, a very important niche.
Yes.
And I
Yes.
think I have not seen another person, maybe apart from Tim, because she gives a little bit of advice and things like that out as well, how teachers, can
Yeah.
help. She helps teachers thrive, as her
Yes,
podcast is
for sure.
called. So, apart from you two, I have
Mhm.
not heard of anyone who is having the specific niche or niche, as you call it in the States, to
Yes,
to look after the educators and the health and well-being of the educators, people working in the school system or the education system. So
right.
it is a very important area.
100%. And hopefully her and I mean, we definitely can be that voice. We definitely can be a safe haven to be able to keep teachers in the field that they love, because again, they're leaving, and they're like,
Yeah.
I can't do this anymore because it's a lot of stress, it's too much on me. And so yeah, if whatever I can do to prevent, them from leaving their passion and their love, because you have to love education in order to do it.
Yeah,
So
yeah. It is not easy. It is
right,
not easy.
exactly, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, I think, you should get together and kind of motivate other teachers from other countries, because I think a lot of Western nations have the same problem. I
Yes.
know from because my blood is German, my passport's British, right? But
Oh, okay. Yes, yes.
I know from Germany, because I've still got family. I've got nieces and nephews there, and from them I know that they have teacher shortages and teachers have
Yes.
issues. Either they're not, you know, sometimes there's no lessons because there's too many off sick. So yeah, there is definitely a need for that for different countries as well.
Agreed. I agree 100%. And hopefully, I will be able to do that because I mean, with you and with Tim, you are the first two that I've done a podcast guesting on, and you
Mhm.
happen to be from, I mean, you're from the UK, so you're not
Yeah.
even from the States. And so, and I'm able to connect. And so if it can be a global thing, I'm definitely going to do it because I feel like as a whole, in the entire world, it's the same struggle. So
Yeah, yeah, definitely, definitely.
yeah,
So how is going back to the education system in
yeah,
the US?
yeah,
Um, do you, I'm just wondering, is it a lot of what the government tells you to put in the curriculum, or is it, do you have a bit of scope for some life skills and things? I keep banging on about life skills in schools. There's not enough life
yes.
skills there.
Because yes, it is. Because the way it works over here in the States is that you have, the government provides funds, and then you have the
Mhm.
state that mandates, what you can teach and what you can't. So,
Okay.
with the curriculum. And so, because of COVID-19, the pandemic, they have incorporated more of the life skills, more of the social emotional skills. They have
Okay.
incorporated that into the curriculum. They have incorporated more of the mental health curriculum as well. And
Mm.
so that's a great thing too. And hopefully it will continue. Don't
Mhm,
know
mhm.
because, things are happening in our country that's, it's a little different. So
Yeah.
hopefully they will continue with the mental health because in the counseling and because it's helping our students. And so
Yeah.
they just need to expand it to our educators as well.
Yeah.
So that is the main thing, and that's something that schools are looking into as well because they realize of the retention is not where it needs to be because they either having to get rid of teachers because of funding
Mhm.
or teachers are leaving because of the stress and the burnout.
Yeah. I mean, if they shorten the funding, or if they cut in the funding, that's not helpful either, is it?
No, it's not. Not at all. Not at
Mm.
all. So, so hopefully they will, I mean, they have some funding, but hopefully it will be something that, can keep, teachers on and wanting to stay and not looking for another profession because a lot of teachers are looking for other professions,
Yeah.
or teaching in a different type of setting, I should say.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah. Another thing I've noticed from your website, because I've just been checking a little bit,
it's fine. It's
and
fine.
I was very happy to see that you like your focus on nutrition as well.
Yes.
You've got to focus on the nutrition as well, because to keep our brain happy and healthy, we need to watch very closely what we eat, don't we?
Yes. Stay away from processed foods. That
Oh
is the
yes.
key. Stay away from processed foods. Incorporate brain boosting foods into your diet,
Hmm.
and which includes walnuts, blueberries. If you can include sunflower seeds, if you can dark leafy greens, those are so important. And interesting enough, when I started my company, it was, all about the food. And so I started
Right.
including the food, I started including the wellness, all of it goes hand in hand. And
Hmm.
so if you can constantly have those different things like like when you're at work or you need a quick snack, you need to have like a brain boosting food that helps you and that will give you the energy that you need. So I am an advocate for nutrition and incorporating that into your daily lifestyle.
Yeah, yeah, very important. Very
Yes, very
important.
important.
And then, yeah, the best advice is really to stay away from processed foods.
Yes,
It's
stay away
it's
from processed foods, read your labels, make sure that your whatever you're consuming, it is supporting your brain because your brain is what functions everything else into your body.
Yeah.
It's it is the drive of everything of how you are able to function. So I hope that people remember that and understand that.
Yeah, I sometimes compare it a little bit like the CPU in the computer.
Right. Yes,
So it's the
exactly.
main the central system to
The
coordinate
central
everything
system, the
that's
hard
going on.
drive, yes.
Yeah,
You're correct. You're right about that.
that's I think there's quite a few ones comparing that,
Yes.
even though it's organic,
Right.
it can't really completely compare it, but I think it is the best comparison.
It's the best comparison, and you're correct about that. Yes.
Yeah, yeah. So, and with regards to sleep, that's another one, isn't it? If we don't get enough sleep, and if
Yes.
we have kind of things ruminating in our brain, what if there's anything happening in life as well that can have a huge impact on how the brain works.
Yeah, it does. And that's the thing that if we don't, and that's why brain dumping is so important because even before we rest or before we go to sleep at night or take a nap, because when we're dreaming or when our brain is still active. So it's trying to turn it off, trying to
Yeah,
turn itself off because it's trying to protect you as well. So you definitely have to do a brain dump or some type of breathing exercise to just relax and calm down before you actually rest or sleep. And that's something that we don't do often. So hopefully people will start to do that as well because sleep is so important.
yeah. What I recommend as well as part of brain wellness is for people to turn the TV or the phone off about half an hour before you go to sleep. And
Yes.
as well, keep the room dark. It's not
Right.
always easy depending on where you live. Like if you live
Which is true.
next to a four-lane highway or something like that, it's a bit difficult.
That is true.
And yeah, just keep the room cool and things. Not easy either when it's hot like that. We've got like 33 Celsius. That will be above 82 Fahrenheit, quite a bit above 82 Fahrenheit. I'm not too good
Wow.
with the conversions, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's
It's
quite.
the same. I mean, I live in San Antonio, Texas. So I live in South Texas and it's hot here. So it's
Mm.
like 90 something degrees
Yeah,
almost
yeah,
every
yeah.
day. Yeah.
That's
Hmm.
very similar then.
Yes.
Yeah, oh, brilliant. Yeah, it's an interesting journey though, isn't it? Sometimes that life takes us. We start one thing because we like what we're doing, and then it
Yes.
takes us to another and to another and to another thing.
Which is true, which is true. It does. I mean, and that's the thing, you have different journeys in your life. And again, I just knew that I would be in the education system. I say the system, like the day to day, in the schools for a while. I've always wanted to be an entrepreneur because I felt like it was more I could give.
Hmm.
And so, but life forces you to make choices,
Hmm.
and you have to do what is necessary for you to survive and thrive.
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
um, and so hopefully I'm still educating. Well, I'm still educating and trying to make sure that my former educators are being supported as well as others who I interact with and come across as well. So hopefully my message will be able to reach them too.
yeah, yeah. I'm sure you're gonna be very successful. You need more subsidiaries in other states of the states.
Yeah, right. That is
So
the goal.
that could be, that could be quite a big venture, that
Yes,
it will turn into. So yeah, I hope you're
definitely.
gonna be off to something big there
Yeah, that is the goal. That is
because
the goal. So
it's so much needed. Um,
definitely.
how did you get to the Mediterranean diet?
Oh, living in Italy. I
Oh,
brought
right.
over, yeah.
Sorry, my brain just seems to have had a kind of
It's okay.
a little brain you know, when it's kind of cut off.
Oh, it's
Because you did
okay.
say, because you did say, you did say earlier you were, you know, your
In
husband was
Italy,
stationed
yes.
in Italy and you
Yes, he was
lived
stationed
there.
in Italy. When we lived in Italy, and one thing I would say about Europeans, well, in Italy specifically, there aren't any processed foods. Everything is fresh. And so um that really drew me to be able to bring that once we because that's how we ate over there, with
Hmm.
Mediterranean food. I would cook the type of food that that I would get at the market, or
Hmm.
because that's one of my favorite cuisines is Italian, but we was able to visit other countries as well, and it was the same. They had the fresh foods. And
Yeah,
so I brought that over, to the States, and me and my family continue to eat like that.
that's brilliant.
But it is so powerful when it comes down to inflammation. Like, it's an anti-inflammatory um diet. I don't like diet, it's a lifestyle. I mean, it's a
Yeah,
Mediterranean
yeah,
lifestyle. That's what I like to use. And so because when your body's inflamed, that's what causes diseases, that's what causes aches and pains, that's what causes strokes, with your brain and all of those different things. So Mediterranean lifestyle, when it comes down to eating, is the go-to. And research have shown that everyone needs to try to start going into that direction, because you have everything you possibly need in those different types of foods.
yeah.
So yeah, so I'm an advocate of that as well. It's the
Mm.
Mediterranean lifestyle, and because that also supports brain health as well.
Oh yes, yes.
Yeah.
All the fresh ingredients and the spices and all the
Yes.
ingredients that they're using. I have I have to confess that I'm guilty of watching TikToks from people in Italian cooking food, and
Uh-huh.
it always looks so delicious,
It is very
so
delicious. Have you
fresh.
visited
And
Italy before?
I haven't made it to Italy yet. No,
Oh,
no.
you should go. You should go. Definitely. You should go if you have an opportunity.
Yeah, it's definitely it's on my list. It's on my
Yes.
list. Even more so, I had one of my nieces has decided to move to Italy, so I have to check in with how she's doing, and at some point I have to go there and visit because
Yes,
she
you do.
moved
You do.
she moved to
My
Sicily.
son,
She
she
moved
lives
to
so,
Sicily.
oh, cool. She lives in Sicily. That's
Uh,
awesome. My son,
yeah,
he was born in Italy, so we've been telling him that we need to take him back over to Italy where he was born,
right.
so that he know where he comes from. So
Yeah. Oh,
yes,
that'd be great. That'd be a great trip then.
yes, it will be.
Oh,
It will.
super. Yeah, so yeah, it's an interesting journey, and with regards to the brain, there's this people just they pay attention to other organs, other health bits, but not necessarily to the brain, do they?
Right. Hmm. Yes,
So it's that's why it's so important
it is.
to pay, and especially if you've got like you've got to be so fully focused when you're in a class with that many children, and
You
with
do.
you
You do.
you have even less support, you know, with
You
no
do.
teaching aid or anyone helping you.
Yes. Yes, you
Yeah,
do. And
your
I think
eyes and focus have to be everywhere at the same time.
Yes, you have to be everywhere. Your mind has to, you have to multitask. And because at the end of the day, if you don't get, results, like your students are not getting the results that are needed, I mean, they're looking to the teacher, as to, what did you teach, did you teach it at the mastery level that you were supposed to,
Mhm.
and all of these different things. And so you have teachers are stressed, because they're like, I don't know, what to do. I don't have that support. And then also it's just that school administrators, if my word to them is, if your teachers are, if you see physically that your teachers are needing a break, let them have that break, because I will have my teachers, if they needed 15, 30 minutes just to take a moment away from the classroom, I will go into the classroom and continue to teach the lesson for them,
Right.
to give them that time, because at the end of the day, I need my teachers to be there, and so I
Yeah.
don't need them to get ill, or or burnt out and don't want to return because that has happened. So it's
Mm,
like
mm, mm.
whatever I need to do to make sure that you are okay and that, you will be able to get back into the classroom and continue teaching, then you can take that 15, 30 minutes to yourself.
That's brilliant that you can offer that,
Yes.
because if you've got, I don't know how well behaved or not the children are in the States in
It depends.
classrooms.
It depends. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean, it depends, but I just think that well for me, I mean, my students, when I was principal or whatever, they respected me. It wasn't a problem. So, when I would go into the classroom, they'll get excited. They're like, "Oh, she, Miss Askew's in here to be able to teach us for a little bit."
Mhm.
Just to give the teachers a break, just for a little bit, so they can recharge, rejuvenate, and get back in there.
Yeah, no, that's brilliant. That's
Yeah.
much needed. I think that would be something that's needed here a lot as well.
Yeah,
Something
exactly.
someone who could step in, and because teaching assistants, they're not supposed to do certain things. They can only do certain things in their job role,
Right.
and they're not meant
Right.
to kind of totally step into the shoes of the teacher when the teacher needs a maybe 10, 15, 20-minute break
Right.
in the lesson. So yeah, maybe they should think about, changing that a little bit as well, or
I
having
agree.
more support for them.
I agree 100%. Yes.
Yeah, that was just fantastic to get some insight into what is
Yes.
happening in the States.
Yes.
Have
Yes.
you how does it work when you get people from other countries joining in classes? Have you got this happen
Actually,
sometimes, or?
yes, it does. Yes, we have exchange programs where, students are coming from other countries and integrating into the classroom. We have I know here in San Antonio we have English language learners, and that's
Uh-huh.
students coming from other countries, whether it's from, Mexico or from the European countries or
Hmm.
Asia. So they'll, and so we have a teacher that can help them transition
Hmm.
to, they may not know there because they're coming to learn English as well.
Hmm.
So they have a little of a struggle, the students, but the teachers are able to get them on track where they're able to speak the language as well, so they can be successful.
Do they get lessons or anything? Do they get any support in that way? Does it like extra lessons in the language and things?
The extra lessons in English, yes, they do.
All
Yes,
right,
yes,
that's
Mhm.
very good. You know
Yes,
why
they get extra.
I'm asking this? Because
Mhm.
when I was in the secondary school in my placement, um, they had students coming in from other countries very often, not any kind of sufficient language knowledge of English.
Right.
And they didn't get much support. They get one tutor hour a week, and they had to
Oh,
very often sit in the community area with the dictionary and things, and to kind of sort it out themselves. Basically,
oh,
they've been left to
wow.
their own devices, and I thought that was really sad, because
Yeah.
how are they supposed to be, integrating
Right.
well? And
Exactly.
they what they did was, then they started with lessons like music and some other ones where English wasn't much needed, but it's just not good enough, is it?
Right. Yes, I agree 100%. No, because they have program, for English language learners. And
Hmm.
so the goal is for, and they have an actual English language learner teacher that will
Hmm.
teach them, like they will come pull them out. They will be in the regular class setting as well, but they will come
Hmm.
pull them out maybe, a half a day, or, where they're working with
Oh.
them on their English and things like that. And so they can
Hmm.
integrate back into the classroom, and the higher that they get with their learning English, the more they're in the whole class, where they're
Hmm.
not
Hmm.
pulled out as much. So the support definitely is there for them, to be able to learn the language and to integrate, where it doesn't feel like it's too strenuous for them.
That is really good. That
Yeah.
is really good. That's so much better. Yeah, we
Yeah.
need we need more of that. But I think well, they advertise heavily for people to get into teaching or to work with children.
Right.
So there might be some sort of shortage you know, with regards to that, and that's why they and teachers are leaving, and
Yes.
that puts
Mhm.
another, you know, strain on the system. And
It does. It does,
yeah,
unfortunately. It does. And they don't have as much support, for the students who need that
no, that's it.
support. Yeah, because they don't have the staffing.
Mm.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
the education system is constantly evolving and
it
constantly
is. Yeah.
changing. So I just want to be not a small part, but a huge part in that, to be
Yeah,
able to
yeah.
keep their retention for teachers to want to stay into the field that they chose to go into and that they love. So
Mm.
that is my goal for sure.
Now the question is, now with AI coming on the scene,
Yes.
what will happen then?
And the thing is, I mean, before AI was it where it is now, like we were, having teachers to integrate technology into their lessons all the time. And so if they
Hmm.
use AI in the best capacity possible,
Hmm.
it actually will not eliminate them from, teaching, but it will help in that process so they don't feel so stressed out
Yeah,
having that one to have all the work. So the AI literally will be their assistant, if they don't have that
yeah.
human being there. So if they can learn how to integrate it well, where it works for them, where they don't feel burnt out, I think it's
Hmm.
a good thing for them.
Or maybe it could help them with lesson planning and
Oh,
things
yes.
like that. Yeah.
Yes, 100%. And then also just integrating, technology into their lessons, it will, enhance what the students are learning as well.
Yeah.
If I'm over here in the States and I'm trying to go learn something that's happening in Germany, I can literally feel like I'm there, because
Hmm.
I'm
Hmm.
going through a virtual tour of Germany. And so even though I've never stepped foot there physically, but
Yeah.
I'm there virtually, so I think it's a great thing to be able to integrate it as long as they do it correctly, I think it can eliminate a lot of burnout for teachers.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Make AI our friend.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's not all scary. It's not all scary.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
It's, I used so far, I used it a little bit for video creation, a little bit for content creation for
Right.
posts and things.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's it's I made it a friend. I'm
Yes.
not I dumped my skepticism.
Make it your friend, make it your virtual
Yeah.
assistant. That's
Yeah.
exactly what it needs to be.
So another question that just came to mind was because I'm interested in children with special needs and all that. You know, neurodiverse like autism, ADHD, and so on. How do you work that in the States? You know, have you got how do they integrate in the school system? Is it more like yeah, do they integrate in the mainstream just as normal
Yes.
or
They do. Just like
uh-huh.
with our ELL learners, it's the same with our special needs
Ah,
students as
okay.
well. They're
Hmm.
integrated into the classroom. They get pulled out for support to work on their academics or to work on behavior. It all depends on what's in their IEP, which is the individual student plan. And
Education
so
plan, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
education plan. So they're all integrated into the classroom. They definitely have that support, that they need.
Hmm.
And so they're able to function just like, everyone else. And so they have special education classrooms as well, where the special ed
Okay.
teacher will come, pull them, take them to their class. They work on a few things and they come back, they integrate back into the classroom. The
Hmm.
expectation definitely is there for them as well as a general ed teacher. So
Hmm.
it's like, you must get your work done as well, and stuff and things like that. So it's not really a huge thing unless it's a
Hmm.
student who is autistic and they
Yeah.
are on the severe end of the spectrum.
Right.
That's the only way that they probably will spend more time in the special education classroom and not
Hmm.
necessarily in their general ed classroom. It just
Yeah.
depends.
Yeah. Yeah. But that's good. So, are all teachers then getting trained with like with regards to special needs, or is it just some of them that kind of specialize?
Well, you have special education teachers who are certified, so they're the main teacher. The general ed teacher, they do have workshops, professional development to be able to help them with lesson planning on how to integrate the IEP into the lesson with
Okay.
accommodations and modifications, and then also how to handle a student. That's why studying the IEP is so important
Mm,
with your students to know exactly what are their triggers, what's going to, have them to react, especially a student who is autistic and even a student who has ADHD. You need to have a relationship with your students to be able to understand, okay, what's happening at home. Did you take your medication today? Like different
mhm,
conversations like that teachers will have, and the students will be honest and they'll tell you, because I've had a few that will tell me, Miss Askew, I didn't take my medicine today, or my mom forgot,
mhm.
and they would give me a heads up because they would prepare me for how the day probably would go,
Right.
so I appreciated my students for that, and I would not be as, on them as much if they let me know what was happening, because I knew
Yeah.
something would be off if they, wasn't themselves. So yeah, but we over here in the States, we try to make sure we integrate the students as much as possible into the classroom.
Mm, mm.
Yeah.
That's very good. That's very good. Yeah. Yeah, it's I don't know what its system has changed, I'm sure,
Yes.
since I've did my course. So well, I
Yes.
will bombard then Tim with a few questions as well about that. I know she's
Okay.
so I know she said to me she's working in secondary education, so there will be some questions coming her way. Yeah. No, it was that you shared some fantastic insights
Hopefully
into
so. Hopefully so.
the school system in the States,
Yes.
and then into, of course, more importantly, into what you're doing, what you're offering.
Yes.
And I do hope it really takes off what you are offering. I will put the links that you had given me
Okay.
in the show notes, but you can tell us the links here towards the end as well. So if
Okay.
you want to everything you want to promote, go ahead.
Okay. I will definitely. So to find me, you can go to my company, which is Pure Modish LLC. It is www.puremodish.com. You
Mhm.
can find me on LinkedIn as well. And when you go to my website, you will be able to grab the free brain boosting habits tracker if you want to be able to start that journey, to be able to, have simple habits throughout the week, to be able to have those moments where you can definitely reflect, recharge, and have that brain dump that you need throughout the day. And this can go for educators, entrepreneurs, anyone in any industry can definitely use that tracker to help you.
Fantastic. See that tracker, is that like a daily entry,
Yes,
like a
it's
journal
like
thing?
a yes. It's like a
Ah, yeah.
daily entry, yes, and, you should be able to, just pick 3 habits throughout the week, like, just 3 that you're gonna do every day,
Hmm.
and then the next week come, you can choose another 3, or if you like the ones that you were doing, just continue that, because
Oh,
you develop a routine and you develop a lifestyle, so that is the goal.
yeah. It's always important to kind of do it a little bit, like a little bit at a time, not too
Right,
much at one go, because otherwise
exactly.
the brain might like, no,
It'll
it's too
crash like
much. Help. You
it will
want too
crash like
many
a computer.
changes. Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
Yes, it will crash like a computer, like you said before. So yes, it will say, wait a minute, because it is at that point, it's literally trying to help you protect it so it doesn't spiral out of control, your brain. So it's really truly trying to protect you if that happens. So I appreciate the opportunity for allowing me to speak to you and your audience. I just wanted to make sure I thanked you for that.
Hey, you're very welcome. You're very welcome. It's,
Yes,
as I say, I do a teacher special with you, one episode with you, one episode with Tim. So it will be, yeah, it'd be very important, and it will get like some special promotion for that.
awesome. Thank you so much.
It was great to speak to you today, Tamiko, and I thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much, and you have a good one.
Okay, and you too.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye.